Hello and welcome to another episode of Canadian History X. Today we're going to be talking about the trail smoke eaters. And the trail smoke eaters are kind of something that I have always liked, at least since about 2006, because that's when I moved to Rossland and I began working as an editor at the Trail Rossland News. And part of my job was to cover the trail smoke eaters. Now, the trail smoke eaters are a legendary club. They have two major championships in the 20th century, and they're one of the most well-known amateur clubs in Canadian history. In fact, I still have this. You put your butt on it. You sit on it. My wife and I used to go to trail smoke eater games, obviously the junior games, when we lived in Rossland, and it was a lot of fun. So let's learn about the trail smoke eaters. Now, the trail smoke eaters, as a hockey team, have kind of been around for about a century, and hockey has always been around trail. They've had a team compete locally with neighboring communities for many, many years. It was a very early trail team that actually won the first Daily News Cup in 1914. It would go on to win 11 more by 1925. That's pretty impressive considering that the team actually had to take a break during the First World War. Now, beginning in 1926, that's when they established themselves as one of the best teams in the country. At first, they were known as the Trail Hockey Club, and they won the provincial championship, known as the Savage Cup, in 1927. 1 year later, the team name would change to the Trail Smoke Eaters. Now, how does this name come about? A lot of people think it is because of the Cominco Smelter, and that might be part of it. After all, they do feature the Cominco Smelter on their logo, or at least they did. But how did this come about? Where did this name come? Because it's unique. It actually has a unique story. At least legend has it. So the legend has it, 1928 Savage Cup Finals. A penalty is called on a trail player, and the fans, they're not happy, and they begin throwing debris on the ice. And one item that was thrown was a corncob pipe, and it was picked up by a trail player, and that player promptly started puffing away on it. So, next day, in the Trail Daily News, a cartoon appeared showing somebody smoking a pipe and calling them the Trail Smoke Eaters. The sports writer also did the same thing, referring to them as the Smoke Eaters. Now, this is just legend. It's not actually, might not be the case. We don't know, because the Trail Smoke Eaters are actually referenced as far back as 1901. Trail itself, mountain community in British Columbia, very close to the US border, was hockey mad. Had 7,000 people living in it, and they'd routinely have 3,000 people attending a game. And the team was amazing. They would go on to win 7 consecutive Savage Cups from 1927 to 1933, and again in 1938. And they've had many great players. One was Mike Buckna, and he played from 1932 to 1934 for the Smoke Eaters. In 1935, he actually left and went to Czechoslovakia and began coaching their national team. And he would continue to coach the team even after the Second World War, and he would spread Canadian hockey techniques throughout Europe and Russia, and today he's actually called the father of Czech hockey. It was in 1938, though, that the Trail Smoke Eaters really made a name for themselves, and they won the Allen Cup, and it was the highest trophy in senior hockey. They defeated Cornwall 3-1 to win it, and when they returned to Trail, there were 7,000 people greeting them at the downtown train station. And that win would allow them to compete in the Ice Hockey World Championships in 1939. They would embark on a tour of hockey through Europe, beginning in December 10th, 1938, before they'd compete in the championship. And over the course of this tour, they'd play 55 games throughout the continent, and they would win 53, lose 1, and tie 1. Now, if you include the championship games they played soon after, they would actually play 71 games and win 62, and they would score 374 goals, but only be scored on 177 times. Now, the 10-day championship started February 3rd, 1939, and they steamrolled through the competition, and they would win the championship and become the pride of Canada as a result. And over the course of those 8 games they played, the team scored 42 goals against their opponents. In the final games, they beat Switzerland 7-0. Czechoslovakia 4-0, and the United States 4-0. Anatoly Tarasov, who would go on to actually become a great Russian coach himself, would comment in his later years that the Trail Smoke Eaters of 1939 was one of the greatest teams that he had ever seen, and he actually used their same techniques when he coached Russia. The team would come back and win the Savage Cup in 1940, 41, 46, 48, 52, and 60. In 1949, Cominco Arena was constructed and would actually become one of the best arenas in all of British Columbia, and one could say in Canada, at least in terms of amateur hockey. The senior Smokeeaters would repeat as Allen Cup champions in 1962 when they defeated the Montreal Olympics 4-1. But the year before that, they represented Canada once more at the Ice Hockey World Championships, and they won the gold medal again. Now, over the course of that tournament, they would finish first among the 8 teams with 6 wins and 1 tie. They would score 45 goals to the 11 scored against them. Seth Martin, Smokeeaters goalie, would be chosen as the best goalie of the tournament, and he would go on to play 30 games for the St. Louis Blues and help them get to the Stanley Cup final in 1968. Now, with the creation of the men's national hockey team in 1963, the Trail Smokeeaters actually have the amazing distinction of being the last independent hockey club ever to represent Canada on the international stage. They would win their last Savage Cups in 1979 and 1983, and in all, they won the Savage Cup, again, the top amateur championship in British Columbia, a total of 18 times, more than any other team. And the team would officially fold on January 29th, 1987. But there's a junior team. The junior Smokeeaters, they actually got their start in 1926 as well, and they've moved between junior, junior A, and junior B levels of hockey. Beginning in 1931-32, the junior Smokeeaters would go on to win the first of 22 Mowat Cups, which is the Junior A championship in British Columbia, and they did it over the course of 29 seasons. In 1944, they would win the Abbott Cup. In the 1970s, the junior Smokeeaters would begin playing as a Junior B team before becoming a Junior A team from 1991-92 to 94-95 in the Rocky Mountain Junior Hockey League. In 95-96, they joined the Junior A British Columbia Hockey League, which is where they are now. Over the course of their life, they won 1 KJHL championship in 1969-70, they won the WKAHL championship the following year, and they won the KIJHL championships in 78-79, 80-81, and 90-91. Several members of the Trail Smokeeaters have actually gone on to have stellar NHL careers, including Sean Horkoff, Steve McCarthy, Ray Ferraro, Steve Tambolini, Mike Zanier, and Wade Dublowitz. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode about the Trail Smokeeaters, and if you did, please click like and subscribe on iTunes, and also go to our YouTube channel where we always put videos up of everything we talk about, and like and subscribe there as well. You can also go to our blog to find links to everything, including our Discord chat, where we talk about history, and it's free for everyone. Just go to canadaehx.blogspot.ca.